Welcome back to the class, children. Today's topic is about the history of Mendel and his contribution to the field of biology. Mendel, he is the father of genetics. He is the first person to speak something about what we call now it as genetics. So he was born on 22nd July 1822 in Austria. He belongs to a farmer's family, a below poverty family, and with his immense effort, he got his graduation. He is a mathematician and philosophist from the University of Vienna, and also he studied physics, and he is a student of Christian Doppler, famously called as Doppler effect. So Christian Doppler, he was his professor for physics, and after completing his graduation, he worked as a priest or a monk at the Augustinian St. Thomas Monastery. It is a church. He worked there as a priest, and also he worked as a secondary school teacher. And during his tenure as a teacher from the year 1856 to 1863, he worked out various historically important experiments, hybridization experiments on the pea plant. So he worked his experiment for more than 5 years, and he presented his paper entitled as Experiments on Plant Hybridization to the Natural Science Society of Brno in 1866. At the time he presented his publications or his paper, it was not accepted by the well-versed people at that time. And he died in the year 6th of January 1844, and later he is celebrated as the father of genetics. And this is a very brief history which was given in our book. And speaking about why Mendel has selected the pea plant. Mendel has selected the pea plant because of these reasons. The first one is pea plant is an annual plant. Annual means the plant which completes its entire life cycle, both the vegetative and the reproductive phase, within a single year. So within a very short period of time, we can able to generate more number of generations. So the first criteria for selecting the pea plant is it is an annual plant. The second criteria is pea plant has distinct contrasting characters. So there is tall plant and there is an dwarf plant. There is no intermediate type. So extreme characters are found. If there is a yellow seeded pod and there is a green seeded pod, so distinct characters can be observed. There is no intermediate or blending characters. The third point is pea plant is a self-fertilizing plant. That is, it has the ability to undergo self-pollination because it is a flower that has both the sexes in its flower, and it has the ability to undergo the process of self-pollination and self-fertilization. So there is no crossing of any other pollen grains. The last point is the flowers are usually large sized, and this favors Mendel to do his experiments in a convenient way, to perform the emasculation. That is, emasculation means removal of anthers. To perform the emasculation and bagging process, for all these technical activities, the large sized flowers had helped him a lot. And these are the very important reasons for why the pea plant has been selected by Mendel. The first point is pea plant is an annual plant, so many number of generations can be raised within a short time. The next is there is a clear cut of characteral discriminations. Next is self-fertilizing plant, and moreover the flowers are large sized. And in this chart we can able to see all the 7 characters. So these are the 7 characters which was selected by Mendel to perform its experiment. Seed shape, seed color, flower position, plant height, pod shape and pod color. So all these are the 7 characters which were studied by Mendel to perform his hybridization experiments. And here we can able to notice the large quantity of plants which he obtained, right? So all in thousands, right? So and the ratios here it has been given. All the ratios, if you observe it, all comes under the result of 3:1. That is the monohybrid ratio, 3:1, 2.99:1. So that makes us 3:1. So this is the chart that shows clearly about the characters, all the 7 characters which has been selected by Mendel and the respective results. And what is the reason for Mendel's success? There are several reasons for the success of Mendel. The first one is Mendel was the first person to introduce the concept of mathematics in the field of biology. He is the first person to evaluate the results on statistical basis. In all the experiments what he had performed, he maintained accurate data and a detailed statistical records, and that criteria is one of the reasons for Mendel's success. And moreover, he also used a large number of plant species. Large samples has been used by him to perform its experiment, and he planned his crosses. All the crosses what he had done, whether it is a monohybrid cross or dihybrid cross or back cross or test cross, whatever the crosses he performed during his hybridization experiments, all the experiments are highly planned and schematized crosses. And at the beginning he selected the pure breeding parental varieties. So the meaning for the term pure breeding is a plant that has been self-pollinating or self-fertilizing for several generations. Pure breeding or the plants will only perform the self-pollination or self-fertilization and maintain the homozygosity. So he selected that type of plants. So selection of the pure breeding parental varieties. And whatever the characters he had selected, all the characters has a distinct contrast features. Tall, dwarf, yellow, green, round, wrinkled. Like this, all are distinct contrast characters. There is no intermediate characters. And moreover, he was clear about his studies. He studied only one character at a time. He didn't mingle the characters. He did the monohybrid cross first, studying about the height of the plant, and then he also studied the pod shape and pod color. Like that, he had performed this experiment one by one. And fortunate, there was luck favors the Mendel. Luck favored the Mendel. The genes located separately on the chromosomes, and all the 7 characters, the genes for all the 7 characters are located on separately on the different chromosomes, and there is no linked genes. So this is one of the major reason to get a result, to get the favorable result in all these experiments. And these are the reasons for Mendel's successful hybridization experiment. And this chart shows the position of different genes on different number of chromosome. A pea plant has a chromosome number of 14, diploid condition, 2n equals to 14. We can able to see the location of flower color and the seed color in the first chromosome, and 3 different genes for pod shape, plant height and flower position in chromosome number 4, and pod color in chromosome number 5, and the seed shape gene is located in the 7th chromosome. So all the genes are present separately and also distributed in the different chromosome, and this distribution of the genes in different chromosome has favored Mendel a lot. Even though Mendel performed his various experiments and successfully produced his results, but his work has not been recognized by the people during that time, because Mendel could not provide any sort of physical evidence for what he called as factors. Whatever the experiment he made, he just mentioned there are certain factors that are responsible for the transfer of characters. But Mendel couldn't able to give the proper explanation for what is meant by factor. And moreover, he can't able to describe how those variations occur, how it is getting transferred. So that is one major drawback for Mendel. So he can't provide any physical proof for his factor, and moreover, at that time there was no clear-cut idea about cellular division or chromosome meiosis, all those things. That is one major setback during that time, and the scientists during that period does not want to accept the introduction of mathematical and statistical records in the field of biology. So all these things are made to turn down the Mendel's work. But later in 1900, after the death of the Mendel in 1844, in 1900, three scientists, Hugo de Veris of Dutch, Karl Correns of Germany, and Schermark of Austria, these three scientists independently performed experiments based on Mendel's paper, and these were the scientists who rediscovered the Mendel's publications, and then only the world came to know that Mendel was right, and after that he was now celebrated as the father of genetics. And so children, in today's class we have discussed about the history of Mendel and his contribution to the field of biology. So, and these can be the questions that can be asked in our exams. List out the reasons for Mendel's success in his experiment. This can be asked as a 3-mark question. Why Mendel selected pea plant for his experiment? 2-mark question. Name the scientist who rediscovered the work of Mendel. This can be asked as a 3-mark question. Who is called as father of genetics? Gregor John Mendel. All these can be asked as either 2-mark or 3-mark questions. Hope this session will be a useful one. Let us meet in the next episode. Thank you.